Greetings lords and ladies, I am the Mighty Gammon and you are watching the best Valhalla video you have ever seen. Let's get right into it. I stumbled upon a rather unfortunate gentleman who didn't seem to realise that he had a large axe lodged in his skull. It was a humorous situation, quite similar to when someone is looking for their glasses, only to find them later on their head. This was the same thing, only it was an axe instead of glasses, and instead of being on their head, it was having a nap inside his brain. As a funny joke, I removed the axe to show him that it wasn't glasses on his head at all. It was a weapon. Such a funny situation. He died. Anyway, on the way to meet with some Vikings, I accidentally started a battle with a group of Saxons, guarding what appeared to be an abandoned Roman house. Some people that I was supposed to know were trapped inside, so I smiled and accepted their thanks for helping them escape. In reality, I had no idea who these people were in the house. I was just looking for some silver and some empty bird cages that I could sell to a merchant with no questions asked. It is interesting that every merchant in both Norway and England will pay exactly the same amount for an empty bird cage, as if they were all part of a singular network, a large market that communicates in secret and will sell anything if you have the money to buy. They're running a black market, aren't they? After sailing for a short while, one of my crew revealed they desperately needed to find a toilet. However, as we run a budget longship at Ryanair River Cruises, we did not have one on board the ship. He could not hold it on any longer, and the resulting miasma that blanketed the surrounding landscape almost killed the rest of the crew. Ivor himself wasn't too bothered as he's partial to a regular Vindaloo curry. My very first assassination target in England was revealed. Wigmund, a member of the English Order of the Ancients, stood atop the Grant Bridge gatehouse, defiantly. The man even had time to grab a pint on his way to meet with our army, who were laying siege to his town. Clearly he did not realise that the greatest Viking to ever live was about to run down his entire defence single-handedly. The Saxons were not great at thinking ahead, which meant that they wouldn't mind when I relieved them of their heads. Having a brain is such a heavy burden for people who don't use it. All that extra weight and energy just to power a redundant object. This practice of unused brain cells continues in England to this day with the majority of the population. On my hunt for Wigmund, who had escaped the battle earlier, I followed a trail into a top secret hidden tunnel where a random peasant happened to be standing. She looked terrified when I approached, which suggested she was dealing drugs or trying to steal someone's bike. I operate on a shoot first, ask questions later at the homicide court case basis, so I took care of the issue and continued my investigation. The gods had delivered me a cat to assist me on my hunt. Giving the creature some much deserved attention was in no way a distraction from my responsibilities. You think the great Ivor Wolfkiss would procrastinate? Shirk his duties to pet a small furry animal? What am I? A woman? Ramping up my efforts to find Wigmund, I interrogated a pig. It did not have the answers I wanted, but it did manage to save me 15% on my car insurance thanks to our sponsor. I don't have a sponsor. I mean, have you seen my sub count? Which also brings me to the fact that you should probably subscribe to the Mighty Gammon TV, because I can't save you money on anything, please. I need to feed my family. I had stepped into a pagan fantasy land run by Satan himself, as the area surrounding a mystic tree was choking on an ancient curse. I used the classic Catholic priest tactic of shooting an arrow at a glowing skull to completely dispel the dark forces from the area. It looked like Satan's love of Christmas tree ordnance was his undoing, as was the case in the scriptures. To continue spreading the good word, I burnt down a nearby village. This was not an enjoyable experience, but I would be lying if I said I didn't thoroughly enjoy the experience. I also never contradict myself, but if you trust anything I say, that is your loss. Stun attack! Yes, look how stunned you are now. Stunning and brave, yas. Not gonna hurt you, just a quick stun, bruv. After saving the villagers from themselves by killing them, I assisted a young man with his basket of apples. These were said to be the tastiest apples in all the land, so I had to try them for myself. It was beautiful. I was bobbing for apples like a Halloween celebration, although the woman supervising me kept holding me down. I was struggling to breathe, but she just got her phone out to take pictures. The police didn't believe me when I contacted them to report that I had been assaulted by the apple wench. The authorities will regret this later on. On my crusade against our friend Wigmund, I found something truly magical. Some Ubisoft points I could spend on a really crap tattoo, or a skin for my horse that would be immediately replaced by something far better. Classic Ubisoft. Further scuppering the Order's plans, I snuck into the churchyard of the largest Saxon town in Grantbridgeshire to find and kill Wigmund's favourite priest. Finally, he would perish after doing nothing of note to us for this entire arc. He looked harmless, but in reality we had found 2 grams of weed on the horse outside, meaning this man was now essentially on par with a mass murderer, so I executed him on the spot. That'll teach him to turn my kids into potheads who worship Baphomet the Weed Baron. The decision was made to not play with these Saxons anymore because one of them punched me in the foot, which really hurt. Also, of all the places as well, why would you punch someone on the foot? The gymnastics required to pull that maneuver off mid-fight should have put them off, but no, straight to the foot. Bastards. Then the ultimate showdown began. My true nemesis, the great cock of the West, attacked. The fight was brutal, but I just managed to survive. The rewards were fitting for the challenge. I stumbled upon a location called Black Peak. This blatant racism was unacceptable, so I had to investigate the building. As I suspected, there was treasure being hoarded here, so I took it back as reparation payment to my people. The English had some nerve keeping this from me. Step 2 of my revenge against the Redcoats was to invade by myself the nearby abbey. They would return the riches they stole from the Romans, who stole it from the Britons, who stole it from... I quickly realised I was but a single man, so I called my crew to assist. I couldn't possibly carry all these reparations by myself, even though every ounce of them were going to me. I pay my crew in crudely drawn sketches of herons that I draw while I'm sailing, in which the crew also do most of the work. I mostly just kill things and take all the rewards, to be honest. To be fair, we had captured one of Wigmund's captains, which gave us a massive advantage. With enough persuasion, this man could lead us right to our target. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.